Darkfall is a multiplayer real-time action combat MMO set in a fantasy setting. The game features unrestricted full-loop PvP, a large, dynamic game world, and in my opinion, the best player skill-dependent combat system in any game I've ever played. Darkfall is also free of the class and level systems that typify most MMORPGs. Darkfall was originally run by a company called Aventurine, and is now being re-released on the 26th of January 2018 by a company called Uber Games. I will quickly prefix this whole series with a disclaimer that I am making these videos a few months before the game launches. A lot of the information provided in these videos is subject to change before launch, so my apologies if it does. Racial warfare plays a huge role in Darkfall New Dawn. There are 6 different races creating 3 racial factions fighting for control over Gasm. The Mahirims of Tribeland are racially allied with the Orcs of Morak. The humans of Mercia, the Elves of Morendel, and the Dwarves of Dvergheim are the biggest racial faction. Standing alone, we have the Alphars of Nagast. Each race does have their own unique racial passives. These are confirmed to be changed in the future, so I won't go into detail, but I will quickly describe each one. The Dwarven racial passive was increased durability on weapons and armour forged by dwarfs. The Orcish racial passive was increased damage using the weapon Great Axes. The human racial passive was increased food duration. The Alphar racial passive was increased protection against acid damage. The Elves racial passive was increased identification range. The Mahirim racial passive was increased running speed. Like I mentioned previously, these are going to change, but maybe some will stay similar. Character customization is pretty basic. You can change a few things such as piercings, hair and hair colour, also tattoos and accessories, etc. Darkfall has a different naming system to most games. In Darkfall you have a first and last name. You can randomly generate one for inspiration, or you can come up with your own unique name. Once you enter the game, you are welcomed by an amazing new player tutorial. I highly recommend you read this tutorial in detail, as it will teach you a lot about the GUI on screen, although I am going to describe each GUI individually. There are 6 main stats in Darkfall. Strength increases damage dealt with melee weapons and moderately affects maximum health. Vitality grants considerable bonus to maximum health and a moderate bonus to stamina. A high vitality may also slightly reduce the effects of poison and bleeding. Dexterity increases archery damage and may reduce damage taken from area of effects. Quickness slightly increases melee and archery speed and may reduce damage taken from such attacks. Intelligence increases the power of spells and greatly affects maximum mana. Wisdom grants a bonus to crafting and harvesting skills, also it moderately affects maximum mana and grants a slight resistance bonus against curses. Armor penalties, also known as encumbrance. You gain encumbrance depending on the gear you are wearing. Encumbrance reduces the damage and attack speed of your melee and archery. It also reduces your magic magnitude and casting speed. For example, if you are wearing full metal armor, your spell casting speed and magnitude will suffer greatly, as opposed to if you were wearing a robe where you wouldn't have any magic encumbrance. Protections are pretty straightforward. Depending on which gear you are wearing, you'll be provided different protections. Robes provide low melee protections and high magic protection, vice versa for metal, and you get a little bit of both protections while wearing leather or bone. Traits are mini bonuses, provided depending on which armor type you are wearing. Metal armor provides increased HP regeneration and increased back hit protection. Leather armors provide increased archery and melee speed and damage, also stamina regeneration. Bone armor provides casting speed, magnitude and mana regeneration. Robes provide greatly increased casting speed, magnitude and mana regeneration, obviously at the lack of the protections. Firstly, the backpack. This is your inventory. Unlike other MMOs, your items in your inventory aren't locked into a grid. You can move items around freely. If you hold down shift while dragging an item, you can split the stack. You can hold alt and select multiple items in your inventory, and by moving one of them, you will make them all move accordingly. If you hold down Alt and drag your mouse across your inventory, you can select multiple items in your inventory like you would on your desktop. While having nothing selected, if you press the letter U on your keyboard, it is an auto sort function for your inventory. The paper doll shows graphically what gear, weapons, jewelry and ammo you have equipped. You could equip weapons and armor by dragging it onto the paper doll slot, or by double clicking it in your inventory. Your spellbook is where you can see all the spells you have unlocked and what level they are accordingly. I'm just showing you the UI elements in this video, but I will be going into magic in depth in episode 3. Skills, similar to your spellbook, shows the level of your crafting, general, magic school and weapon skills. The hotbar is where you can slot your spells, weapon, food, potions, just about anything usable or consumable. I will go into this in more detail in the next episode. The weapons bar is a new feature which many people find very useful. Personally, I don't use the feature, but I highly suggest you check out its functionality as it may help you greatly. I will put a link in the description of the video to an in-depth guide on the weapons bar written by the user Nubnax. Item counter is exactly what it sounds like. Drag stacks of items onto it and visually shows you how many you have left. I won't go into too much detail on the journal as it is getting a revamp. It's pretty self-explanatory. It has your friends list, quest log, details of your kills and deaths by players and monsters and how you died, a history of your crafting and enchanting, high score tables for the server, and a meditation system. I will explain the meditation system further into the series. The clan system, like the journal, pretty straightforward. You can browse clans, check their rosters, apply for the clan. After joining the clan, you do get access to a lot more features as long as you have the according rank in the clan. The conquest tab is to do with your clan and sieges. If your clan is active and in any sieges, information on the sieges will be displayed in this tab. Chat is similar to most other games. It uses a tabbed system, so private messages, clan messages, system messages, all different kinds of messages all go into different tabs. You can also drag tabs off the main chat box to create multiple chat boxes, up to as many as you want. The world map, although it looks intense on first view, is very simple to use and navigate once you've only ticked the features that you need visible. You can toggle just about everything visually on the map. You can also search for certain monsters in the search box, even going as far as searching for certain items that monsters drop. A very powerful feature and very useful to new players. Help doesn't currently work at the moment, but I believe it will be in the near future. Options opens the above menu. Input options has your mouse sensitivity and a few other mouse options. Input bindings will be covered in full in the next episode, as it's the majority of the episode's content. Video options are your standard graphic settings. The settings I'm inputting now are the optimal settings for FPS, which is what the majority of players play on. Feel free to play around with these settings, as a lot of it is personal preference. Audio settings, you will want to toggle on hit sounds and private message notifications, as they are useful. The volume in this game is very loud, even at very low levels. I recommend between 5 and 15 master volume. The ambient sound volume is the music you have been hearing throughout this video. It is created by Robert Sandnes, whose Soundcloud I will link in the description below. GUI and chat options both offer a number of personal preference toggles and sliders. I suggest playing around with these to see what works for you best. That covers Darkfall New Dawn's GUI in full. Next episode we'll be moving on to basic controls on the binding system, my personal bindings, and a first look at melee and archery combat. Thanks for watching.